What's up everyone, coming at you with our picks on every single NBA game for Wednesday, February 7th. This video is brought to you by StumpTheSpread.com, where you can get all of our top confidence picks and predictions on every major sport. NHL picks went into the All-Star break up 72 units. Get in there and get signed up and let us help you get some winners. Real quick, before we jump into the video, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you're new so you don't miss out on our daily videos. We've gotten over 200 new subscribers in just the past few days. Absolutely wild stuff. Let's get in here and get you all some winners tonight. First game we're going to look at is the red-hot Cleveland Cavaliers visiting the Washington Wizards. Obviously, Washington is still terrible. Cleveland's who we're going to look at first. They've been playing great. They've been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row. They've been on an absolute tear. They are charging up the Eastern Conference standings, playing some great ball. Cleveland is 12-9-1 against the spread on the road this season, but that's a number that we expect to get better. Washington comes into this game, shocker of the year. They're on a losing streak. They've dropped 3 in a row. They just got absolutely dismantled by the Phoenix Suns, something you would expect to see to happen pretty often. Washington is terrible against the spread at home. They are 7-17-0 against the spread at home. This is a terrible team. Sure, this is a double-digit spread. We're looking at Cleveland -10, but I don't think they have any trouble with that. We see the Cavaliers getting the massive win and cover in this one. I think it'll be a blowout. They're healthy. They're playing great. Cavaliers in a big way. Next up, we're looking at something of a toilet bowl. We've got the Toronto Raptors heading to Charlotte to play the Hornets. Neither one of these teams is good at all. The Raptors come into this game fresh off a third straight loss. They just got blown out in New Orleans by 38 points. Not super fun times for Raptors fans. Nothing too good to really talk about here. They're just not looking like a good team. They don't really have any hope for this season. Gary Trent is listed as day-to-day, but it doesn't really matter who and what is playing, who's on this roster, what's going on. They could still make some moves, I guess, although it kind of seems like their race is run in terms of moves they're going to make headed up to the trade deadline. The Charlotte Hornets come into this game fresh off another loss. They just lost an actually fairly competitive game to the Lakers. Something important to monitor for the Hornets is whether or not LaMelo Ball is going to be playing in this game. Right now, he's listed as out. Will he possibly be playing in this game, though? No, he is listed as officially out. He will not be out there. That puts the Hornets in a pretty bad spot. Charlotte is 9-16 against the spread at home. I don't like this game at all, guys. I'm not trying to bet on either one of these teams. If you force me to bet on this one, though, we're going with the Raptors. Raptors -6. Playing on the road doesn't feel great. Not one I'm going to be betting myself. Next up, we've got the Golden State Warriors playing against the Philadelphia 76ers. The Warriors come into this game fresh off a comfortable win over the Nets. They went on the road, went into the Barclays Center, and got the win. Things are looking a little bit depressing. Clay's on the bench. Draymond's listed as day-to-day. Wiggins is listed as day-to-day, but he's not going to be playing. We kind of expect Draymond to play. We kind of expect Wiggins not to. All this news about Clay coming off the bench or sitting on the bench in crunch time is really not good vibes in Golden State at all right now. They are taking on a 76ers team that they beat earlier in the season, and by earlier in the season I mean 3 games ago. They took down the 76ers without Embiid playing, and he will not be playing in this one as he's going to be out around 4 weeks after his knee procedure. The 76ers are 16-9 against the spread at home. A lot of those numbers come with Embiid in the lineup, though. With Embiid not playing this season, the 76ers are 4-11 straight up. The Warriors are 1.5 favorites in this one. We're going with Golden State. Not too much of a surprise here. We're going to have to see the 76ers show some fight. If they don't start showing some fight, they're going to plummet down the Eastern Conference standings. Like I said, Draymond Green's listed as day-to-day. We expect him to play. Wiggins is listed as day-to-day. He could play, but I think that's a little bit of a long shot. Other than that, the Warriors are healthy. Someday we'll see Gary Payton and Moses Moody back on the floor, but that's not going to be in this one. Regardless, Warriors -1.5. That's our pick on this one. The Atlanta Hawks head to Boston to take on the Celtics. This is going to be a pretty exciting game given how well Atlanta's been playing lately. Sure, they lost that game to the Clippers, but they gave LA all they could handle. That was pretty surprising. The Hawks are suddenly playing way better. Trae Young seems very motivated by not making the All-Star team once again. Gotta suck for him, but when you've developed such a reputation as kind of an asshole, people aren't really going to be trying to vote you in. Although I think his numbers, maybe he kind of deserves it. Up and down the line, the Hawks are just playing much better lately. Kind of odd. Not something we really expected to see. Atlanta is a near league worst 7-16 against the spread on the road, so that's a pretty big concern in this game. Looking at the Celtics, they have, of course, been playing well. They just absolutely dismantled the Grizzlies in a bounce back from their loss to the Lakers. That was pretty expected. Not a big shocker here. Jrue Holiday is listed as day-to-day for this game. It looks like he's closer to questionable due to a right elbow elbow sprain. I think there's some chance he plays in this game. It's a pretty big deal if he does because they definitely want him out there to guard either Dejounte Murray or Trae Young, whichever one Derek White's not guarding. Boston is a respectable 14-12. And 0 against the spread at home. They're big favorites at home a lot of the time, so covering a big number can be difficult. We're actually going to go with Atlanta and the points in this one. We think Atlanta finds a way to make it close. If Drew Holiday doesn't play, that's kind of whatever. It feels like Boston might be stumbling a bit as they look ahead to the All-Star game and the All-Star weekend and the All-Star break. They're going to have lots of players going to that. They're going to be busy. They've got things going on. I don't think their main focus is going to be blowing out Atlanta. Sure, they'll probably win this game at home where they're very good, but I think Atlanta finds a way to get one of their rare covers playing on the road. So Atlanta plus the points, that's what we're going with in this one. The San Antonio Spurs head to Miami to take on the Heat in this one. San Antonio has not been having a very good time lately. They've lost their last 4 in a row, including a loss against the Wizards, which is a little bit upsetting. They played a very close game against the Pelicans. They kept things relatively respectable against the Cavaliers, but not that respectable. We do expect Wembanyama to play in this game, so that's a big deal, and they're getting some points at Miami, but the Spurs in general, they're just not a very good team. They're really not using Wembanyama to his full potential. I think Pop's doing that on purpose, so I don't think there are any major alarm bells for Spurs fans. They knew this was going to be a bounce back season. The Heat, on the other hand, things are getting a little bit troubling. They just lost to the Clippers, so maybe they're not quite up to the level that they want to be, although they do have the excuse of Hero having been out for that game. Miami at home is 9-16-0 against the spread. Pretty bad. They're bad against the spread, which is weird because they used to be so good against the spread at home. And they're going to be playing on no rest tonight. Miami is currently playing against the Orlando Magic. That's going to be a tough matchup, a tough physical matchup. Miami is 1-4-1 against the spread when playing on back-to-back nights. Not a good look. We're actually going to go with the Spurs and the points on the road in this one. We could see multiple players from Miami sit out. Hero, we're not worried about. He'll be back unless he has another migraine episode, but you could definitely see players like Jimmy Butler or Bam sitting out this game as the Heat continue to not care about the regular season. Can't blame them there. They've had all the success in the postseason, so they don't need to worry about it. But our pick on this one is going to be the Spurs and the points. Keep an eye on that injury report, though. That could make a big difference. This game could end up being a very, very good bet, the Spurs and the points, if we see a lot of players on the Heat sitting out. And we're definitely seeing Miami playing at home, where they're terrible against the spread. Looking at the Detroit Pistons playing at the Sacramento Kings, Detroit comes into this game fresh off a 3rd straight loss. They didn't keep things close against the Magic. Not too surprised about that. Detroit is kind of a mess right now. They've got players asking out, players asking to be traded. They could be very active here at the trade deadline. We don't know if they will be for sure, but if they're given the opportunity, they probably need to be because this squad doesn't seem to be going anywhere fast. The Kings come into this game playing pretty well. They just lost to the Cavaliers. That was kind of expected. They're not really up to that level. That's not a good matchup for them defensively or offensively, but the Kings have been playing well. They've won 6 of their last 8 overall. They're really a better team against the spread when they're playing on the road. They're not too good against the spread playing at home, going only 10-12-0 against the spread when they're playing on their home court. This is a big bounce back spot for Sacramento. They're -13, which seems like a lot of points, but the Kings can really score the ball, and I don't think Detroit really has the pieces to stop them. Detroit's not going to be up for this game, not that I would expect anyway, and Sacramento should be out for blood. They really did not do well against the Cavaliers. This is a team that wants to have aspirations in the Western Conference, and they really have to prove it. Time for them to get a bounce back, win and cover. It's a big number, but we're going to go ahead and lay it. Sacramento minus the points. In our last game of the night, we see the New Orleans Pelicans head to LA to take on the Clippers. The Pelicans come into this game fresh off a 3rd straight win. They dismantled the Raptors. That was a nice one. Although a single-point win against the Spurs is kind of a bad look, and sure, they beat the Houston Rockets. Congratulations. We're not going to overreact to that. The Pelicans have been very inconsistent. They are healthy, though, so that's a great sign. The Pelicans are 13-10-1 against the spread when playing on the road, so something to take into consideration. That's a decent road mark, and the Pelicans come into this game getting 6.5 points. The Clippers are healthy still. Zubac is marked as day-to-day, but I expect him to play, and the Clippers come into this game fresh off a crazy high-scoring win over the Hawks. The Clippers have won their last 4 in a row. They're looking really good. The only team that bumped them off was the Cavaliers. The Clippers kind of looking like one of the better teams in the Western Conference. Sure, Denver probably doesn't care that much about the regular season, but they care a little bit. Honestly, the way the Clippers are playing, I really like the way they look. They're 14-9-0 against the spread at home. They're going to want to make a statement against a Pelicans team that's kind of a young and up-and-coming team, but they can get under opponents' skin. They can be a little bit mouthy. I expect the Clippers, Kawhi, Paul George, James Harden, everybody to be on their A game and at maximum effort in this one. Take the Clippers to get the win and cover at home. That is our last pick of the night, guys. Thanks for sticking around for this video. If you made it all the way to the end, please comment your best bets below. I'll give you all my feedback. You can look in the comments of older videos. I've given guys player props. I hand out basically anything, any question you want to ask. I will be more than happy to read and answer. I read and answer every single comment. Hit that subscribe button if you're new. Get over to stumpthespread.com and sign up for our premium picks. That's where all of our best bets go. We've been on fire in NHL. UFC has been going nuts. We've got college basketball plays. We have 5 plays yesterday or 6 plays yesterday. Tons and tons of information over there for a very affordable price. So get over there. There's a link in the description. Check it out. We'll see you tomorrow with another video. Have a good one.